everybody. Welcome to the FTW podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. I am Harrison, and with me, as always, is Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Wrestlemania, baby, yeah!
Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hey.
And Kevin is not here this week, but Garvin is manning the boards.
Hey!
Tonight's show was... Okay, fine. Say hi, Garvin.
Hello.
Well, you always get on my ass if I want to introduce you, so you're like, well, I want to be introduced, I don't want to talk on the show. Anyway, tonight's show is episode number 107, and it's coming to you live on March 27, 2012. And if you're new to the show, check out FTWpodcast.com for more about us and how to get involved in tonight's show, as well as upcoming shows. You can reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, voicemail, text message, email. We'll bring in your comments and stuff through the show. It'll be awesome. Tonight's live chat can be found at FTWpodcast.com/live, and you can also email questions at FTWpodcast.com. Please keep the nudie pictures to a minimum. If you're on Twitter, use hashtag FTW Live. We'll be reading your messages throughout the air tonight. And, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It is time to vote and decide who will be inducted into the first class of the FTW Hall of Shame. We'll be posting our polls on Facebook throughout this week. In fact, I think they're already up there, so definitely hit up our Facebook page, vote on there. Send us emails, send us up on Twitter. Any way you can get your vote in, get it in, because this is going to be spectacular. One other administrative announcement, real quick, is coming up, we're going to be interviewing James from botchspot.com, which is a pro wrestling themed internet cartoon type of thing. It's a pro wrestling themed e-comic, and it's fantastic. It's one of our favorites on the show. So I think it's actually the only pro wrestling themed e-comic. I'm going to have to make sure to ask him about that. So we're going to be interviewing him coming up. We're going to release it coming up in one of the shows. It'll be awesome. But first things first, Impact Wrestling. Rob, what'd you think about Sting once again leading the show?
It was alright, I guess. It was nice to finally see them make a decision what to do with him rather than keep him, try to keep him being a GM and a wrestler. It was nice to say, okay, we can't do both. We're going to have
Make him a wrestler.
Well, he's going to take some time off and then come back and be a wrestler. So.
Yeah, I know, but that's the problem, is he's going to come back and he's going to be a wrestler. I liked him better as a GM. I like him in that, dial down the crazy train a bit, but still, he was a better, legend, really, than...
Yes, I think he made a better GM, too, but
we're not writing the checks.
Right, TNA and the fans in the Impact Zone seem to disagree with you and me.
Yeah.
Well, but it's not like he was a quality GM. I think we like the idea of him being a GM, but in practice, he never really took that role to heart. He was always like going back and forth where he was getting involved physically when he really shouldn't be. He was still dressing like a wrestler when he really shouldn't be.
That's a good
fair.
point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's
and then
fair.
he's also going back to practice with the police, and that's just not cool.
Yeah.
Well done, Joe. Quality work there. I only have, really, Rob, I have two questions for you. Three questions from Impact. One, obviously, discount beer making a huge difference in the Impact Arena, because that crowd was loving every second of it.
Right.
Well, maybe it was a wrestling crowd. There have been rumors that more wrestling fans are, tired of seeing the fake fan crowd that have been in there before, that just the tourists, and actually have been showing up, as wrestling fans to be wrestling fans. So maybe there is a positive change happening. You can't discount that.
Well, that's true, but you have to look at it and you have to wonder how much of that is like the actual real fans showing up and actually being there for the shows versus spring break season is going to be ending pretty soon.
Sure, and it could be that TNA also changed up their cheer track that they have been using, so it just sounds different.
I gotta be honest, we slam the cheer track, but it's really useful to get rid of like the what chants.
Yeah,
those are annoying as shit. I'm going to tell you that right now.
But
yeah.
Even if they did get up change up the cheer track, one of the things that I've been noticing is that when they pan around the crowd with the camera, rather than people just kind of standing there like
Yeah.
Well, this is nice. What am I going to
Watching
do
a
after this? There are people actually standing up, cheering, and getting. So TNA is making it a little more obvious that they're not using cheer tracks
no,
and
I
piped
think
in noise all the time. I think, like Harrison says, it'll be interesting to see when spring break season ends how much of a drop off there is, because there is undoubtedly a lot of people who are on spring break
yeah,
filling this right now.
and Orlando really isn't that far from Daytona, so no, I'm interested to see it because it seems like TNA is angling for that because they are going on tour.
Yeah.
Well, they're going on tour, I should say, with my finger quotes. Austin Aries, this guy is a money making machine. I mean, he just walks out and dollar bills fall out of his ass. I mean, I cannot believe he is not on camera more.
That's why Dixie follows him around with the trash can.
The guy, he's gotten a lot better on the mic, but just in the ring alone, he's just the
Well,
guy's money.
I mean, and he seems to be able to do just about anything you want him to do. I
Exactly.
mean, Bully Ray comes out and the match goes no contest. I mean, these guys are having a phenomenal match. Bully Ray comes out, ruins it. Now, Austin Aries, normally being in the heel persona, would just be like, well, hey, easy night of work. I'll take my championship and go home. But he actually gets in Bully Ray's face and actually starts moving a little bit towards being a face. Gets in the face of Bully Ray and like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And, Bully Ray ends up having to take Austin Aries out too.
Right.
And he makes a believable, and Austin Aries can make a believable. He really seems to be one of those guys where you can just say, okay, we want you to be a good guy. And he'll be like, all right, I'll do that.
Not so much a good guy, but like the anti-heel. Like you can have an anti-face. He's like the anti-heel. Okay, just two things real quick. I just want to make a note. ODB scares the living shit out of me. I mean, I feel so bad for Eric Young. I would hate to be in that relationship. ODB, you're fantastic. You are talented as no end. You scare me to hell and back. The trivia shit with the crane operator or with the tow truck operator. Better application of Twitter than anything WWE has ever done. I mean, the fact that they throw the questions up for Twitter so people can answer them, much better than, hey, The Rock kicking ass is trending on Twitter or whatever. But really, the last thing before we move on, Rob, the return of Hulk Hogan. Yay or nay?
I don't know. If he's going to be in just a pure GM role,
which is what it looks like.
I could get behind that because I think Hogan could make an effective GM and could come out and say, okay, because before the Immortal storyline started, that's kind of the role he had. Hogan would come out, he'd give his little speech, he'd be like, and here's the matches we have for you. He'd say brother 20 times in a 30-second line of thought.
It's a tick. It is. It's got to be a tick at this point.
It is. But I think he makes a good GM. I think he's somebody that the fans can view as having actual can view as somebody who has actual power to make things happen. And I think he's also somebody that the wrestlers in back would respect.
Absolutely, especially the Hulkamania thing. Garv, you got a comment?
Yeah, the only thing that I can, okay, I have a positive and I have a negative. My positive is, I honestly believe his backstage segments where he was basically saying that TNA was, on the cusp, on the edge of the hill, and was going to start taking over. I honestly think that he believes that, and he is willing to do whatever it takes to do that. And so I think putting him on camera with that energy and belief is a good thing. My problem, though, is TNA's inconsistency with all their storylines, and this is just another example of it. They spent, 6 months, 8 months trying to get Hogan out of power, only 3-4 weeks later.
Yeah.
No, it's been longer than that. It's been 2 months later to give him to just hand him power again. Like that, that to me does not make sense, and I think it's a bad move for that reason only, because they're once again going against storylines.
I think they're keeping some of that in. I mean, Dixie Carter was not happy, was not thrilled with the prospect of turning Power over. I mean, they had it written where Sting had to really sell her on it. He spent 10
minutes on it.
She was not really to just say, "Oh, okay, Hulk, here are the keys."
Yeah, but Rob, that said, I mean, that's just a writing device. The Garvin's point still stands. I mean, they did spend an inordinate amount of time keeping Hogan out of the spotlight that he now has. And I'm with you. I think it's going to be great because you're right. The guy loves TNA. It's very clear. And that kind of energy and positive direction is awesome. But at the same time, it is kind of schizophrenic.
Yeah, I think the key here will be TNA will have to do something that they haven't done with Hogan yet, and that's strike the balance. Get him out there enough where his energy and his real belief in what TNA's possible of can help the company, can help inspire the wrestlers and keep pushing things forward, but not so much that he's taking camera time away from the people who need to be out on camera.
And I think the best way for him to do that, and I think the best way for him to do that is not during TNA programming. Is interviews, like commercials for TNA, that kind of thing on the network. I mean, he can do that. Dude, it's Hulk Hogan, okay? My grandma knows who Hulk Hogan is. She has no idea who John Cena is or The Rock, but she knows The Rock from movies, but she didn't know Rock was a wrestler. I mean, she knows Hulk Hogan.
He's
so there
the Tooth Fairy.
That's the point. I mean, he has name recognition. Anyway, from the live chat, Hogan involved in wrestling in 2012 is no good. I don't know why 2012 got singled out. Maybe it's the Mayan thing. And sure, it's a good idea. And in 6 months, he'll be trying to take over TNA. He'll be trying to take TNA over again, which is basically what Garvin's point was. So basically, what our point is, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Which is something that we haven't been able to say about TNA since when Vince Russo was on it.
Yeah, I would say cautiously optimistic. At the same time, it does go against what we think is right for the company, which is them to push the younger talent. It doesn't need to be on Hogan's shoulders, but it seems like they're going to go back to that.
Yeah, I am worried about that, yeah. All right, so, Joe, there was a show called SmackDown. Take it away, yo. God, that was awful.
Yeah, it was.
SmackDown is where I lost it. All right, let's be honest. I was doing pretty well until I got to SmackDown.
You lost it years ago, my friend.
Hooker, please.
And I use that term "friend" loosely. So, I think SmackDown started off very horribly. They started out with this segment with AJ and Daniel Bryan. And of course, Daniel Bryan is, yes, 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 which is great. It's a great heel type move, just to be that proud of himself. And he has AJ there and says he's going to be in her corner tonight. She's got a match. He gives her she gets the mic and is talking about what it's like to be in love with Daniel Bryan. And she's like, "Oh, it's heaven." It's the end of every episode of the show Cops, where they got the guy out with his shirt off and the lady with the no teeth is screaming with the Marlboro in her mouth. Yeah,
that's what it was.
I mean, she's like, "Oh yeah, he's so nice.
You don't know him.
Me, oh, he loves me. He's got the softest lips. Sometimes at night they even spoon." And then she calls him Danny. And he snatches the microphone away and scolds her.
How dare you burn the roast?
Oh, yeah. She totally burned the roast. And he threw it at the wall. And
Stella!
And that as a vegan, his body is his temple. And he's so pure. And she
Stop talking like it's a sex line, Joe. Oh, God, stop it. Stop. Move on.
Right? Move on. And then he whispers in her ear, and she looks all upset. She's like, "That's personal." And then he's like, "You gotta say it." And she's like, "Daniel Bryan is a great lover." And, it just gets it gets extraordinarily awkward. I felt like I needed to sit in the shower and cry for a half hour.
Really?
Because, I felt raped.
The crowd wasn't on it, I'll tell you that.
No, I don't think there was anyone that was really into it. I think it's hilarious. I love what they're doing with this.
You like it because he's got a beard.
No, I mean,
Well-
what they're doing extremely well. Okay, but it's just very uncomfortable. They're doing the job well, but it was so extraordinarily uncomfortable as a viewer.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
But it wasn't uncomfortable in like the entertaining uncomfortable way, like when like Goldust. It was just uncomfortable. Like this is uncomfortable because it's just. I mean, you're talking about. I mean, this is spousal abuse. All right, this is like we're crossing a line here.
It's
He
like
was
going.
sued.
It's like going over to Harrison's house and his wife takes him in the kitchen and beats him because he burned the roast, and then
This
comes
just
back
happened.
out, and he's like sniffling and sobbing, with a black eye. And
I fell down the stairs. You live in a ranch.
But we're assuming that's what's happening. I mean, there's no signs that he's physically abusing her, but
no, it's all meant-
I think that's
the
what's
play is
great
all- it's all
about the
mental.
storyline. Yeah,
Dude,
I think that's what's great about this is that we're trying to piece together what possibly could be happening.
The fact that we have to piece it together, I mean, that's not a good sign. I mean, look, I mean, you don't have to hit somebody in order to abuse them,
Right.
and you're
but
playing.
it sure is fun.
The WWE
I'm
is
kidding.
the WWE is handling a very delicate and very important issue. I mean, come on, they went all. Remember come on, they're still in the middle of the anti-bullying campaign.
Right, but they didn't say anything about anti-mentally abusing your girlfriend.
Yeah,
So that's going to be the next campaign. We're going to have to watch, we'll have to watch John Cena and CM Punk get on there and go, well, I was mentally and or emotionally
non-rapist.
abused as a child. All right, anyway, the rest of SmackDown, Joe.
Rest of SmackDown. Mark Henry beats R-Truth like whoosh, like so quickly. They announced that Yokozuna will be the next inductee of the Hall of Fame.
Woo!
Awesome.
Which we broke last week.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody.
Too bad. We rule. You suck. AJ ends up beating Brie Bella. And did anybody else know that Daniel Bryan's actually dating Nikki Bella? That's kind of
Yes, but it's mostly those who pay attention to Twitter.
true. Zack Ryder beat Jack Swagger in a battle of the weird hair. Because really, Jack Swagger just looks so awkward. I don't like the look. If I wanted a wrestler to look like he's got a giant cow tongue sitting on his head, it could be a better gimmick if he actually had a cow tongue sitting on his head. Big Show beats Kane by DQ when Cody Rhodes comes out, gets involved. It seemed like it's waiting. They were waiting for something. I mean, you saw Heath Slater get squished by Brodus Clay. I don't know. Like most of the show was very, very
Dry.
Yeah,
Well,
like there's something coming up that they want to announce for WrestleMania, and they just haven't yet.
yeah, that's the impression you get of the show, that this is all leading to something, or that they're like, well, we can coast the rest of the show because we have The Rock is going to be wrestling in a dress, but they never made that announcement.
I mean, Great Khali beat Dolph Ziggler by countout. Great Khali got a win. Slow night on SmackDown.
All right, fair enough.
The only thing worthwhile, in my opinion, was, well, the women's match was all right, and then CM Punk and Sheamus beating Miz and Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
That was a solid contest. You got a lot of your top guys in there, and it was good to see them mix it up. I like the Miz-Daniel Bryan combination.
Yeah, that'd be, well, unfortunately, be a good tag team that isn't going to go anywhere. All right, so for Raw, the coasting continued. Raw was just kind of blah the entire time. I mean, if you liked pre-edited segments that you have seen for weeks, then you would have loved Raw. For instance, if you had been in a coma for the past year and had just woke up and went, I wonder what's going on in professional wrestling, that was your show. It was basically a recap of The Undertaker's career, Triple H's career. Neither of them are at the show leading into WrestleMania. So they're both in Miami. It was just, that was the thing. I mean, it was a safe show, is the only way we can describe it, which the go-home show, for WrestleMania, especially a WrestleMania this big. WWE know they have their lock. They know why you're going to buy it. They're not going to do anything stupid. There aren't going to be any chair shots, any cage matches. The most dangerous thing that happened was probably, I don't know, Kane
Kelly got a match.
Kelly got a match. I mean, Kane probably going head first into the steel ring post. I mean, that was like the most dangerous thing that happened. I think Christian. No, that match never actually started. Well, I mean, it was like, well, he went into the stairs, I guess. I don't know. It was just a safe show. Christian injured himself. He aggravated his neck, so he is out of WrestleMania. And who's substituting? What's his face?
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre is going to get the push that will go nowhere. Really, I mean, Raw was okay. Raw was okay. It just was like there was nothing really sparkful. I mean, there's nothing interesting about it. I mean, the only thing. Well, I will say this: Cena and Rock had a segment at the end where Rock came out, did his spiel, and then Cena lit his ass up. And I got to be honest, going into this storyline when it started a year ago, and we were all about The Rock, marking about The Rock, and how Cena's got to step up his game. I have gone from a Cena watcher to a Cena apologist. I am now full-fledged Cena fan. This guy, he said, they may not like my character. I mean, you got to admire that.
I mean, it was a good segment and whatnot, but it's just like
it went well.
I'm more in the middle on it. I'm still sick of Cena, but Cena definitely did give the better promo.
Oh,
yeah, and the thing that was nice was that Rock actually talked about the match and that he may win the match.
Yeah,
I think
like
that's
he
the
actually
first
said.
time where he actually said that.
Yeah, I mean, we waited a year, and he finally brought up the point, which is if he wins, he will be the only. I mean, he would have defeated every major superstar from the era: Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, and now, Cena. So you got to look at it and go, well, that's a legitimate. I mean, before it was basically a lock that Cena was going to win. Because, I mean, they're not going to let him lose to The Rock. But now it's like, well, it could go either way. I mean, okay, looking at it this way, WrestleMania coming up. I was going to save this question for our We're also going to be doing a WrestleMania pre-show on Saturday at 3, correct?
3 p.m. Eastern.
3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on FTWpodcast.com. We're going to be doing a live WrestleMania pre-show. So make sure you hop on, join us for that. We're going to be talking WrestleMania, discussing it with any changes that SmackDown brings, how excited we are for the show the next day. It's going to be fantastic. You know what? I'm going to save this question for that because it's a pretty good. You know what? No, this will be our question of the week. We got a week before WrestleMania. No, this is a good one. If Cena and Rock, if neither of them win, if it goes no contest or something interferes, would it have been a failure? Does either Cena or Rock have to actually win the match in order for it to be a successful year-long thing? Is there any scenario? So. Is there any scenario you can imagine where one of them not winning and it still being successful?
If a plane crashes into the ring.
Well, yeah, whatever. Barring natural causes.
I think
brain aneurysms or whatever.
I think there needs to be a winner with a year build up, with the just god awful lengths that the WWE has had both guys go to. I think one of them has to win.
Okay, Garv, what do you think?
I don't really have an opinion per se, but Mr. Lucha Libre on Twitter. His suggestion was that if Cena won by shenanigans, that was where he held the ropes or had the classic heel win where he pulled the tights or something, was the only way that both come out of Mania looking good, according to him. That's it. That was his thought.
So Cena makes the heel turn.
Why can't Rock win via shenanigans?
It's The Rock. He wouldn't do that. No, it doesn't fit. A year long, he comes back only to then beat Cena underhanded like that. No, if Rock wins, it's going to be a clean win, hands down. But anyway, we'll definitely. You know what? Bring that question up at our WrestleMania pre-show. Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, FTWpodcast.com. It's going to be fantastic. Oh, I do want to bring up one thing after watching Raw. To what we were talking about with the Daniel Bryan AJ thing. I got to look at it, and I got to think AJ basically winning the Divas belt to prove Daniel Bryan that she's worth something would be the only way I can think that this storyline won't be a complete travesty and make me insulted to be a wrestling fan. Basically, if she overcomes. Anyway, you can ask us questions by emailing questions at ftwpodcast.com or send us a tweet at ftwpodcast by using the hashtag AskFTW and post on our Facebook wall, facebook.com/FTWpodcast. NicoSev1 on Twitter asked, should TNA bring the King of the Mountain match back to Slammiversary? Well, kick it to Rob.
Yes, only Jeff Jarrett is not allowed anywhere near this match.
Anybody else?
I mean, they could. To me, it's just such an... I don't know.
I love the King of the Mountain match. It was awesome.
To me, like, the TNA takes on some of these gimmick matches are just incredibly awkward. Like I'm expecting them to do the reverse battle royal, like, as a pay-per-view.
The reverse battle royal?
Yeah, where the last person, no, the first person to get out of the ring wins.
You mean, but you
have like 20 people in the ring?
And they all got made mad dash to the ropes.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, King of the Mountain matches, okay, it's the penalty box that's just awkward.
Okay, that's fair. Pinfall Magazine asked, how excited are you about Sting returning full-time to wrestling? Who wants to go first?
Fail.
I'm with Joe. I'm not excited at all.
Yeah, I'm a huge Sting fan, but TNA has other talent that they should be pushing. They don't have enough TV time for the talent that they have right now. I don't see where Sting coming back really helps them long term.
In the ring, yeah. I mean, it's just he's great on the mic. He's great in front of the camera. He's tired in the ring. Uso Oso on Twitter asked, do you think they are seriously designing Dixie Carter to be that weak and powerless, or does she naturally come off that way?
I think it's a combination of a couple of things. I think maybe she just kind of has that aura about her, but I also think that it's kind of like a reflection that, women are supposed to, in pro wrestling, that, women can't really do anything, which is odd coming from TNA, which has been really pushing women's wrestling.
True that.
Yeah, but I think the problem is not only did they at one point just drop women's wrestling as a main point in TNA, they also had the control of the company wrest from Dixie, who was a strong figure, and now they because it was taken away and she futilely attempted to get it back for so long, they just weaken her persona. That's why she seems so weak now. She used to be strong as shit.
Exactly. When she was, I gotta be honest, when she was, I think the downhill for me for the Dixie Carter character was when she was fighting Hulk Hogan for the board and lost. That's when I went, this isn't gonna end well. Because this is Dixie Carter, in a business environment, it's Hulk freaking Hogan. I mean, yeah, you got Eric Bischoff there too, but still. I mean, you're gonna lose this to that, and it just seemed like the storyline was handled so clumsily, and it just that's to me is when the Dixie Carter character started taking a nosedive.
Well, and I think, and as much as I hate to harp on it and beat a dead horse, I think part of the problem for that, one of the reasons why you had that is that's what you get when you team up Vince Russo with Eric Bischoff. Neither Vince Russo nor Eric Bischoff are big fans of female wrestling, which is why women's wrestling in TNA has taken such a nosedive, and hopefully that'll come up a little bit now that Russo's gone. But
hey, female wrestling in WCW was astonishing.
Yeah, well, hold on, Rob.
You're fired, Harrison.
Really, it was a recent thing that the Knockouts stopped being in that prominent role. I mean, they were pretty much prominent thing for the last 3 years up until a good 6-month gap when they had Karen Jarrett in there and it was more segment based stuff rather than actual matches. So I wouldn't necessarily blame that all on Russo, But at the same time, I mean, you look at Dixie Carter. Dixie Carter is the only female in leadership role on either company, really.
Well, yeah, because Stephanie McMahon hasn't come on camera in a very long time.
Yeah, but she looks incredibly weak. Like she is almost in the same type of position as AJ is on SmackDown, where she's getting basically verbally and physically abused by Robert Roode and just takes it. Why? Why doesn't she stand up? I mean, she is the owner of the company. It would make sense for her to do something productive with that position she has, and she's hiding behind Sting. I don't get it.
I keep waiting for her to slap the shit out of him, but it just doesn't happen.
Well, how do you have? See, this is the thing that was great when Vince McMahon did it. How do you have the owner of the company come at his employee at that level, on their level? Dixie can't wrestle. She's definitely not going to wrestle Robert Roode. That was the best thing about Vince McMahon that made him such an amazing heel as far as a leader, because it was you couldn't even hate him because he wouldn't enter the ring. And he did. And he and Stone Cold, they actually freaking wrestled. And so that was the best part about that angle. Dixie Carter can't do that. So she's got to have
What really helped...
hang on, Rob. How do you have Dixie Carter, the owner of the company, come at Robert Roode in such a manner that Roode doesn't end up bagging trash? I mean, she can fire him. I mean, that's the problem. It's how do you make them even? Well,
she can fire him. She can make his life hell by putting him in matches after matches after matches, which is something they sort of started doing with Sting, and then it became a Sting versus Roode thing when it never should have gone to that point. See, the thing is that, you could look at the Austin Vince McMahon as the perfect way to handle something like that, but then look at what they just did with Sting in that similar role, taking on Roode. It didn't work. It was bad.
I think in the past, before his heel turn, what really helped Dixie out too was that she had Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett and her had a good alliance going, and if a wrestler stepped too far out of line that Dixie couldn't handle it, then Jeff Jarrett stepped in and said, "Okay,
but
now I'm going to lay down the it's the same problem."
The tricky bit is with this is that how do you have Dixie Carter as a face with all the power in the company taking on Robert Roode as a heel and still come out of this as a face? I mean, people don't like their heroes to be. I mean, we don't like our heroes to have all the power. We want to cheer our hero. I mean, there's no real conflict there because she's just going to quash him and then that's the end of it.
Or she can pit him up against the fan favorite, which is James Storm. Why did they push the whole James Storm versus Robert Roode so far away? They could have pushed that as whatever pay-per-view we just watched.
Exactly. That's why do you set it for Lockdown and say, okay, well, for Victory Road, we're going to have Sting and Bobby Roode do it. That's how you do it. You give the fan favorites a shot. You have people going, you have Dixie saying, okay, you want to get in my face, you want to spit on me, you want to disrespect me, fine. You're fighting a triple threat match at the pay-per-view event against James Storm and Jeff Hardy. Good luck keeping your title, champ.
Yeah, I think there's a definite way that she can look strong without being physically involved. But she doesn't come off as an owner. She comes off as a valet.
And she's got the chops, which I think is the most frustrating thing about this from our standpoint, is that she is, I mean, hands down, I believe she is one of the only female wrestling, well, she's the only female wrestling owner at this level. But I want to say, indie-wise, I don't think there's more than half a dozen. And even then, I think it's just niche, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's got the chops, all right, to do it. I mean, as, day to day, she has it. Just needs to put that on camera. Anyway, Mr. Lucho Libre on Twitter asked, does Austin Aries' long title reign hurt the X Division or help it? And who might be his opponent for Lockdown? Personally, I think it helps it because it gives the X Division some life, which would be awesome. And who would be his opponent for Lockdown? Oh man, I don't
I'm
know.
going to say
Zima
Zima
Iron?
Ion's going to get another shot.
You don't think Zima Ion? I was thinking either that or Kid Cash. I mean,
I would say either Zima Ion or maybe a rematch with Alex Shelley.
oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Because he and Aries have had some great matches. And I think it's been helping the X Division. I mean, Austin Aries has been, almost single-handedly giving the X Division a kickstart. I mean, because he's a guy that we all agree could be a main eventer. He could be competing for the world title right now, but he's helping the X Division out.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it both ways. I can see how he's hurting the division, because you're not seeing a lot of talent being pushed through. But that's not necessarily his fault. That's the fault of the X Division not getting enough time.
Right.
Which is something that we've talked about, before. But at the same time, he's definitely putting the spotlight on the X Division. So, and that's why it's good, because he's by far the best X Division champion that I can remember, in the last year. Because we had Brian Kendrick, who was pretty bad on the mic. We had Abyss, which was a terrible storyline.
What was pretty bad? You're being very nice to Brian Kendrick.
I mean, I kind of like the character, but I just didn't think it was handled well. And again, that's also part of booking, because they don't give them enough time to really develop themselves. They've given Austin Aries the proper amount of time to, put together a great character and get over with the crowd, which is something I wish they would do for everyone.
Yeah.
Live chat's getting pretty. Well, they're doing okay about it. Basically, if they do it right, whoever beats them will look great, which is true. And one person brought up John Morrison's debut.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we can talk about that if you want, but that's being talked about. Pretty much any TNA group that
When's Morrison showing up?
Yeah, that's basically on the question, especially now that he's been more active on YouTube, and obviously he's being more active in indie events, so there's definitely a buzz there, but
especially when he's doing raps against Triple H and Taker.
Yeah. Okay, so the question is, are we going to have a knockouts belt situation where Morrison comes over and is basically handed the title?
That's the problem. Is I don't like ex-WWE guys coming over to TNA and they just hand them titles. Like, make them work for it.
Yeah.
Start them at the bottom. Like, Kennedy was the only guy. Was the last guy I think they actually made go through some paces before they gave him a title.
Yeah. Mr. Anderson is the last ex-WWE guy I can think of that actually had to work to earn the title shot. Everybody else that's come over from the WWE has more or less had a title handed to them on a silver platter. It's like, oh, you're from the WWE. Here, we have a title for you.
At the same time, though, I mean, everyone that they've done that to has been pretty much over, with the crowd, except for Gail Kim. Gail Kim was the only one that it seemed to backfire on them, because there was literally no interest in that division.
Yeah, that's true. Mickey James did pretty well.
But with, like, a John Morrison, I could see him being put into the title picture and it actually doing positive things. I just think it's unlikely that he would make that jump. Because for him to give up an opportunity at WWE, it just doesn't make sense. Well, unless they told him, no, we don't want you back. That's the only way I would see him joining TNA, especially, at this point in their existence.
Yeah, and especially at this point in his career. I mean, other than WWE accepting him back, it's either TNA or it's nowhere. I mean, do you really see him going back to FCW? Assuming FCW isn't going to be closed down. Oh, I can't believe those freaking rumors. All right, any last points before we move on to the main event?
Nope.
Nope.
Real quick from the chat, isn't that what always happens? You jump ship and you get the belt. It works both ways. Christian got the ECW belt as soon as he got back.
I don't think
Yeah,
it was that soon. I think there was some time there.
yeah, but that was mostly a shot against WCW, wasn't it? Because your guy comes over and we're just going to give
TNA.
Shot at TNA.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, there was a
But
shot at TNA.
but the other thing is that Christian, since Christian had some success in TNA, it was worth a shot to try and do it, give it a test run on ECW, especially when they weren't. You could tell they weren't sure how much longer they're keeping ECW around.
Yeah, it wasn't its last legs. Okay, that's a good point. All right, if you bring in
And the
Morrison,
WWE never treated the ECW championship that seriously.
oh no way.
I mean,
No, yeah, hands down. Okay. However, chat room also bring up an excellent point. It's a double-edged sword. You bring in Morrison, you got to bring in Melina, which means she's going to be in the Knockouts division.
No.
Yep.
We already have one Banshee in the Knockouts division.
That's the tag team name.
All right, time for the main event. Now this, when Garvin pitched this to me earlier today when we got this, I thought this was the coolest question in the world to ask. This is from Styles Clash 10 on Twitter, and I love this question so much. It's going to be the main event. Since Wrestlemania is the Super Bowl of pro wrestling, should WWE consider including TNA and Ring of Honor to make it the ultimate wrestling event? Yes, that's never going to happen. But for a minute, assume Vince McMahon had a stroke and decided this would be a good idea. You're in the room. He's going, you know what? Guys, Linda gave me quite a nice Hummer this morning, and I'm open to one suggestion. It's like The Godfather, all right? It's his daughter's wedding. You're showing up. Here you go. You need to make this happen. How do you pitch it? We'll go to Joe first.
Hey, Vince, you want to hear something fucking ludicrous? All right.
We'll go to Rob now.
Listen, done, but fuck you. All right.
No, go ahead, Joe. Finish.
Oh. All right. Humor me. We do WrestleMania, but we make it like 2 more hours longer, and we get guys from TNA and Ring of Honor to join in. No, Vince. No, they're not going to win. No. Okay.
They won't win in their own matches.
Yeah, it's going to be like, it's only going to cost us like $60 and a pack of Coke. Yeah, okay. No? Well, they do have, right, Hulk Hogan. And Ric Flair. Yes, he is employed. No? Wait. Okay. No, yeah, you can still have sex with Melina when we bring her and Morrison.
Oh, God.
No, there's still no Batista.
Yes.
All right. No, yes, and you can shave somebody's head. There. Yeah, you versus Dixie in a hair versus hair match. Yes, that's fine. Done.
You versus Dixie in a hair. God, I want to see that so bad now. Rob.
Better than Trump.
Yeah, exactly. How would you pitch it?
I would pitch it as a way for the WWE to definitively prove once and for all. I don't know that it can be pitched now that I think about it, because the angles for the companies are so different. I mean, the WWE is clearly doing like the Russo thing, making wrestlers out to be entertainers, making it out to be a show, whereas TNA and RW and ROH are actually pushing, like, they're not giving the impression that wrestling's real, but they're making it more of a combat sport than it is entertainment.
Okay.
And I really don't know how you pitch that to Vince unless you do something like, hey, remember when we did that Brawl for It All against boxers and that kind of blew up in our face? Well, why don't we get in some quote-unquote real wrestlers and put them up against our guys? And,
Okay.
The WWE would be the major hurdle block. I think TNA and ROH would jump at this in a second.
Hell yeah, they would.
Because that gives them more viewership than they get in a year. You have to convince the WWE to share the profits with the companies and everything. And then it turns into a nightmare because you've got 3 different companies. You've got to figure out, okay, who wins.
Yeah. Right. Chat says, doesn't matter if Vince says yes. What matters is how Vince will screw it up. Remember the invasion angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that didn't involve any other creative voices other than Vince.
This is a good point.
True, and do it with non-USA companies, which is a great idea. Which is an interesting idea. I'll be honest, but WWE really isn't interested in branching out with anybody else's product. I mean, they are going with their own product. It's not like TNA with Ring Ka King. I mean, WWE would be caught dead putting another product in another country that didn't have their logo on it.
Well, that's a good idea. That's actually a good point because TNA used to do this, like the Motor City Machine Guns. One of the big ways that the Motor City Machine Guns got over as a tag team was TNA sent them to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and they came out wearing the New Japan Pro Wrestling tag team titles. Like, and they sent Team 3D over there. TNA has actually worked with other wrestling companies in the past.
Yeah, and you look at Jarrett. And you look at Jeff Jarrett. He wears the AAA title.
Right, he won it too.
Lucha Libre.
So, right. The only thing that I think we need to bring up is that if history repeats itself, which it does,
all the time,
there's no way that Vince would do this because this type of situation is exactly what the AWA and NWA did right before that whole industry collapsed under Vince McMahon in the 80s. They had Super Clash where they had all the NWA champions and the AWA champion, and yeah, just like the live chat is saying, there was so much fighting about who goes over, which promotion is highlighted, and that basically killed the AWA. I don't see it being a good thing for Vince to do or the WWE to do, because you look at the WWE and that is the company. All the best wrestlers go there. So why would they open up to compete against other companies unless they're admitting that they're not the best? It would make sense to open up the doors to, New Japan, that sort of thing. I guess I could see that more likely, but not ROH, not TNA. I don't think there is any company that is at the level of WWE for them to say, okay, you guys can come in for one night and we'll play nice.
Well, the thing about
but look back at WCW when they did invasion angles in WWE. I mean, Vince gave the nod to them
after he had already bought WCW.
Yeah, I mean
out.
no, because you had it was before that, because you had Sabu falling off the fucking R way back when the Raw set was just RAW. That's still when WCW was going on.
I don't remember that.
I'm drawing a blank.
All right, go pick up the Rise and Fall ECW DVD and check it out.
Oh, okay, all right. Now that you said that, yeah, okay, sure. But I mean, I think at the same time, weren't they close together? Weren't WWE and ECW in communication at the time?
I think they were at that point, and I'm not saying that they still would have to have some type of communication. It can't be like, well, you're a bastard and you're gonna kill. It's not like it's not like the fucking Axis and Allies have decided, you know what? Let's get together and have a fucking picnic.
Yeah, but the issue with that argument is that WWE most likely was in the process of buying ECW. ECW was in their targets. They wanted to buy them. So
it makes sense to court them.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think that works. Because this is not talking about, hey, who does WWE want to buy? Let's do an event. I think it's more or less, let's do an event where everyone can benefit, and I don't think that's in WWE's best interest.
Oh no,
right. No. Garvin's got a point. The WWE would be like, okay, you're from TNA, you're going to lose to our guy, and TNA would be like, no, it would. I see where Garvin's going. It would turn into a huge mess. Because there's no way WWE is going to damage their talent by having a guy from TNA or ROH win, and there's no way TNA or ROH are going to come in just to get squashed by the WWE.
Yeah, that's basically the chat bringing that up, having champ versus champ matches. Let TNA win the tag one, and WWE can win the major gold. Which that's not going to happen. Vince looks at entertainment as a zero-sum game, and he has to win it all. Like, he doesn't think everyone can benefit. He thinks if TNA is benefiting, he isn't. So there we go. 3 months later, TNA and ROH would have less dignity and just as much TV grab, which is probably a good point. And then a gimmick battle royale with Chikara. Which, that would be pretty good. The only thing I think that WWE can do with WrestleMania to make it a larger event than it already is, besides branching out, would be to bring up, and I know I'm going to make Garvin a very happy man right now, superstars in NXT. Give them at least some kind of showcase on the show where they each have one match. The problem is WWE is packing so much gimmick in the WrestleMania and so much stuff that right now it's at 4 hours. I think now, plus the pre-show. I mean, we're looking at, if we aren't careful, we could be looking at half a day for this damn thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at that point, you're thinking, they're not going to charge $60, $70 for a half a day. It's going to be like $120, and you're going to get 12 hours of wrestling, and it's just going to be, unmanageable. So, I don't know, maybe the only thing I can think is that if WWE Vince would rather slice his own dick off and eat it than to even acknowledge that any other wrestling organization exists.
How did you come up with that image so quickly?
I try to think of what could be the most debasing thing for a man like him. And that would be castration and cannibalism. Because incest obviously isn't it.
Yeah.
Hey, leave the genetic jackhammer
out. All right, time for the undercard. Item number 1 on the undercard. Ric Flair will be in attendance and on stage for when the Four Horsemen are included. No rumors as to what exactly he's going to say, if anything, but apparently...
Included in the Hall of Fame, just to clarify.
In the Hall of Fame, when the Four Horsemen are inducted. No word as to what he's going to be saying, if it's anything. Honestly, I don't see him saying anything. I think he's just going to be in the background. He's going to wave, or he might say thanks. But really, this is going to be Arn Anderson's show. I think, anyway. Speaking of TNA, they're apparently going bankrupt. Hey, remember these rumors that we heard every 6 to 8 months? That's what the dirt sheets say. Nothing official, but apparently Dixie spent a lot of money, and now they can't pay anyone on time. Wow, this was a storyline that was just like last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. All right,
and
so...
the year before that.
Exactly. It wasn't Ted Turner going to buy a TNA?
Yeah. WCW 2.0, yeah.
Oh, how bad! I kind of want. I know. Every year we have these rumors, and that one is just like Batista coming back or anything like that. But that is one I kind of wish would happen. Trying to imagine what TNA would be like, flush with cash and with a 3-hour show. I mean, that would be kind of cool.
And put on a mainstream cable network like TNT.
Yeah, that would be kind of nice. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but this Sunday is a pay-per-view of some repute. We are going to do a quick preview of...
pay-per-view.
Yeah, basically. What we're going to do is we're going to do a quick preview of WrestleMania, and we're going to lock our picks in today, which means that there is no possibility of Kevin winning after all this, because he's not here right now.
Unless Kevin emails it in or brings it to us on the pre-show. It's the only ways he can get involved.
Yeah, because we're all going to Joe's for WrestleMania, and he's not going to be there until Sunday, which means he won't be on the pre-show. So he is stuck unless he figures out something. So let's just start from the least interesting to the most interesting. Beth Phoenix and Eve versus Maria Menounos and Kelly.
You really can't pronounce that name, can you?
I really can't. Anybody honestly think that the special guest is going to losing this match?
No.
All right, so Joe.
I'm going to go with
Harrison
and Kelly.
Whatever. Garvin?
Yeah, they. I think the point was brought up that you never see a celebrity lose.
Never, especially on WrestleMania.
And now, okay. So sorry.
Well, it's obvious. I mean, the other point that she's not going to lose, she broke her ribs on Dancing with the Stars.
That's what I wanted to bring up. She broke her ribs, so she's still she's actually on Dancing with the Stars as well. And that's where she broke her ribs. So there's actually a possibility that she might not even make the match. So if that's the case,
still lose?
I'd still lose. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, I can't see Kelly losing this match. Orton versus Kane. Who's taking who? And Kilo G on Twitter said, I hope they put a 6-man tag match first and Team Teddy wins. So
anyway, that jumps into another match altogether. So, Kane versus Orton. I think we're going to see Orton win. I really want Kane to win, but it's going to be Orton.
Okay, Joe takes Orton. Rob?
I'm going to go with Kane.
Going with Kane. Do I want to hedge myself?
Hate Orton with a passion.
I got to hedge myself with Rob on this one. Or I can keep going. Garvin, who you taking? Well, I think.
Yeah, you think about that. I'm going to have to say Kane as well. Just because how awful is it that they brought him back to feud in a big-time storyline with John Cena, make him look incredibly strong, only to make him incredibly weak during his match, and now he's getting beat up every week by Randy Orton. So they have to do something positive with him to make him credible. So I see him getting the win.
So you're taking Kane.
If he does win, I think this might be a good sign that Orton might eventually turn heel. Or at least that tweener that's driven by hate against Kane. I don't think this is the last match between them.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that because Orton's been on a tear lately, and he won last year, didn't he? I think he won the year before. Yeah, and I think he won the year before that too. So
he's on a streak.
Yeah, he's due for a WrestleMania loss.
So Darth Kane wins.
Darth Kane wins.
Yes, Kane the Rocketeer.
And the live chat is pretty split. So some are saying Kane, some are saying Orton. And it technically could go either way. Yeah,
this is one of those there's only really 2 matches on the card that could go either. Well, 3 matches on the card that could go either way, but this is definitely one of them. This is the hardest for me. All right, so Santino, Kofi, Truth, Ryder, Khali, and Booker T versus Otunga, Henry, McIntyre, Ziggler, Miz, and Swagger for GM control. Team Letty versus Team Long. And this is where Kilo G said he hopes that they put Team Teddy on. They put this match first. Teddy wins, and Teddy's first act will be putting JR back on commentary. I gotta be honest, that's a really good scenario.
Yeah, I like that.
It's an interesting scenario, but it's not going to happen. I really think, looking at the just collection of not good faces on Team Teddy, I'm going to say that Team Johnny's going to win this.
Yeah, it would be kind of difficult to stack the deck as much as they have, only to have Team Johnny lose. And really, Teddy taking over Raw isn't a good thing. I mean, we've complained over and over again about how awful Teddy Long has been on SmackDown. So just the thought of him running Raw as well, it's going to be an entire show of tag team matches.
It's a really good point. I mean, the one thing that Teddy has going for him is the fact that he dresses so nice. So nice. I mean, I want to say I'm with Kilo on this, but it's a really good scenario, but it's not enough for me. And because they stack the deck so much in Johnny's favor. I'm gonna have to go with Johnny. Rob.
I'm going to roll the dice here, and I'm going to say Team Teddy wins.
Oh, so you're going to be the lone. So this could be the gamble that wins you the whole bucket, huh?
It
All
could.
right. Cody Rhodes.
Wait. Just to throw in one note. Against the Kilo G, JR is against three men commentary teams, and I don't see any way that they would move away from that anytime soon. So it's unlikely that they'll put JR there. And I mean, they're using him on DVDs and backstage roles for all the programming that they're doing for the network. So I think we've seen the last of him doing day-to-day appearances.
However, WrestleMania, not day to day. In his defense.
Why don't you shut your pie hole?
I guess that was vague enough that you could assume he meant just for the night.
That's what I'm thinking. Put him on commentary for the night. But, all right. Well, if it does happen, that'd be awesome. Cody Rhodes versus Big Show for the IC Championship. Who's taking who? I gotta be honest. I'm going with Rhodes because he needs this to become the next amazing standout heel talent, and I think that's where they're taking with him. This is it. He is on fire, and this is just the giant gallon of gasoline to chuck at him.
This one I think is a tough match, only because I like Cody Rhodes with the title. The problem is that I think for him to advance, he needs to drop it. And with all this talk about Big Show being such a flop at WrestleMania, I think Big Show's going to take this one.
Yeah, that was the other thing too. But I mean, how much stock can you really put into that? How much of that is bluster versus how much of that is actually build? I mean, that's Rob.
I think Big Show will win, but he'll win by DQ or something. So I'm going to say Cody Rhodes leaves with the IC belt.
Okay. Ironically, Chad is saying that Cody's going to win via DQ. Garv, who are you taking?
I agree with that sentiment. I don't see it being a good time to move Cody Rhodes up, and the only place that it would make sense to push him is, for the world title or the WWE title, and I don't think he's at that stage yet. I think he needs a big WrestleMania match, with the IC title, and honestly, he hasn't had a lot of great competition since winning the title.
Yeah, he's had a few kind of crap matches.
No match really jumps out at me. So, I see him walking out with the title. Big Show will probably be made to look awesome.
Well, I hope they do, because really at the mid card they're lacking for faces.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at Team Teddy versus Team Long. Team Teddy versus Team Johnny. I mean, they're lacking for good mid card faces. I mean, Santino's in there for crying out loud. They got Khali. I mean, anyway, CM Punk versus Chris Jericho for the WWE Championship. Anybody really think Jericho's going to win this one?
No, I think CM Punk.
I think you're going to see Jericho win it.
Okay, so Joe's taking Jericho. Why are you taking Jericho?
I'm taking Jericho because this is not going to be the end of the feud. And if Jericho wins, they can go all the way to SummerSlam with a back and forth between the two.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. I'm going to say Jericho because he has done absolutely nothing since he's come back. I mean, he has come back. He has been back since forever, and he has nothing to show for it. They need to give him something in order to have this feud, because right now this feud is just so boring. So boring. Rob, you taking Punk?
I am still taking CM Punk, yes.
Okay, cool. Garth, who are you taking?
There was news, and this is probably just a rumor, but Jericho actually extended his contract. So because it was originally believed that he was going to take time off again in the summer to tour with Fozzy, that doesn't seem like it's the case anymore. At least.
Wait! Fozzy isn't successful? Say it isn't so.
No. I think he's still going to tour, but I don't think it's going to be as a full schedule as originally assumed.
Well, I heard they were going to headline South by Southwest, but then Jericho said, no, I don't want to sell out. I'm sorry, I can't stand Fozzy. I think it's the most overblown thing in the world.
Oh, I think they're awesome.
I'm not a fan of the genre, but I think
they do but they do it well. That's the
thing. They do. That's the thing. I mean, yeah, they do the hardcore heavy metal, but they don't do it any better than anybody else has ever done it.
Well,
they don't bring anything new to
it any better.
Well, I mean, it's like, yeah, I know you don't have to be Metallica, but it's like, yeah, maybe I'm with Garvin. Maybe I just can't stand the genre. Anyway, who are you going to take? You taking Punk or Jericho?
I got to go with Jericho. I mean, because we still haven't seen this whole end of the world, as we know it, thing come into fruition. I think this is their opportunity to do that. And I think it would be a stronger case, I think it would be a stronger feud with Jericho holding a title because, leading into, maybe a rematch at SummerSlam or, even Extreme Rules, or not Extreme Rules. Yeah, that's the next pay-per-view, right?
No, it's Tables and Legend Chairs.
Whatever.
I think.
Yeah, I think I would rather see CM Punk made to look weak, at least now. I think this would be the time to make him look weak to fight for the title again. Because, you look at Punk holding the title, and since he left the company, with the title at that time, he's been on top and strong, and I think this is their one opportunity to kind of take that away from him without destroying him.
Okay.
So I give Jericho the win.
All right. Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus for the World Championship belt. Anybody think Bryan's dropping the gold?
I do. I think Sheamus is going to take it.
Rob is taking Sheamus.
This one's tough because Sheamus could do some good with the title, but then again, I think Daniel Bryan's going to retain. I think we need a few more heels in this winning matches here, and I think Daniel Bryan still has ways to go.
Okay. Garvin.
Man. This is a tough one. I want to see Bryan retain. I think it's a great character. I love what they're doing with him. I think he's excelling. I don't like Sheamus as a face. I've never liked Sheamus as a face. And yeah, they haven't built this up very well enough to make it, me think that Sheamus could do something great with the title versus Bryan. I think Bryan's been amazing with the title. So I'm going to go with Bryan. Live chat is also saying Bryan. So.
Yeah. Basically for the point that you brought up, the fact that these two have not had really any kind of run-in at all, of note this entire time, and the fact that you take the gold from Bryan and his character flops. Then all he is just an abusive guy with a beard. And we already have one of those on the show.
Yeah, that was Jimmy Noble's character. So.
Yeah, exactly. So with the gold, he's got something. He's got an edge. He can lord that over AJ. Without it, he doesn't have it. Orton said that people were looking forward more to his match than Sheamus versus Bryan. Real quick, you agree with that? Because I don't.
No.
No.
I'm sorry. The match that was booked 2-3 weeks ago? No. Okay. Here we go. Taker versus Triple H in a Hell in a Cell. Who does anybody think the streak is going to end?
No.
No.
Should I put Kevin on Triple H just because?
Yes. Because Kevin would pick Triple H. So
yeah, I'll put Kevin. Well, you never know. We'll give him a chance to email in his picks. If he knows how to use email, he doesn't know how to use it. Do they have email in Alta Vista? Oh, come on. That was an awesome geek joke. And no, fine, whatever.
No, it wasn't.
Show was.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you guys. I don't see the streak ending. I don't see the benefit of that.
All right, Taker FTW, so combination of two awesome things, us and The Undertaker, said on Twitter, I'd like to hear you guys talk about the possibility of Triple H ending the streak because he thinks it's going to happen. I got to be honest, no. Just no. It's at this point, 19? This will be 19-0. No, this will be 20-0.
20. Yeah.
This will be 20-0.
If the streak were going to end, they would have picked somebody that Triple H hasn't fought, or HBK. Undertaker just fought Triple H last year. There's no way they'd bring Triple H back this year and have him end the streak. Just no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just, for that reason alone, it's just kind of blah. It's just the idea that, they bring him back a year later. Anyway. All right, so here it is. The match that was booked a year in advance, John Cena versus The Rock. All right, I got to say it. I think it's going to be Cena.
I'm with you on that one, Harrison. I think I'm picking Cena.
Okay.
This is the tough one for me. Granted, it's probably the tough one for everybody.
Yeah.
But if Rock has a potential of being still
around,
I could see this one going the distance, though.
You think that Rock wins and Cena and Rock book a rematch for 29?
No, I don't think it's going to go like that. Because if they did, I would fly to wherever they're at and slap the shit out of them.
That'd be a riot in your living room.
Right now, anybody, WWE must book Cena versus Rock for WrestleMania 29 just because I want to see Joe just come out of nowhere, jump the rail, and start slapping the shit out of people.
That match would end. He would just get in the living room. He would just stand up and go, all right, and then just walk out the front door. And we wouldn't see him for weeks until we read on TMZ that some random guy from Detroit came up and smacked both John Cena and The Rock. He would be gone. There would just be a cab showing up at his house, and that'd be it. It'd be, bye, Joe, off on your adventure. So you're taking Rock? I know, right?
This is the difficult one because you have these two icons. I mean, because how do you end it? I mean, do you have Rock like man up and shake John Cena's hand? If they did that, I think it hurts the character of The Rock. They could never bring him back.
Yeah, I don't think...
Because then you're replaying Rock Hogan.
Yeah, I don't think you can have like the sportsmanship ending with how personal these two have gotten with each other. Yeah.
It's tough. You know what? Just for... Well, see...
Damn it, Joe. Now you got me second guessing. Because I got to be honest, of the two people that would stand up and, I mean, yeah, do the sportsmanship thing like Hogan, it would be Cena that would do it. Because of the two of them, Rock's the only one that said, I don't like you personally.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go with Rock.
You're gonna go with Rock?
What the hell? It's we've gone this far. I can fuck it up now.
I can fuck it up now.
Well, the question is, which is bigger? The fact that Cena beats Rock, or the fact that Rock has beat Stone Cold, John Cena, and Hulk Hogan?
But I think Cena beating him is going to be huge.
Yeah, and
because he's the guy who did that. The only other guy he needs to beat now is Jericho. Because Jericho beat Rock and
Stone Cold
in
the same night,
right?
Well,
and you also, I think you also have to look at it this way: Cena is going to be wrestling after WrestleMania. Rock probably is not. So, how does it benefit the WWE to have Rock beat Cena?
Because Cena's going to be around on Monday to go, you wrestled a hell of a match. It was fight of my life, and I got to give props to you. You are the best that ever happened. Face it. Now, look, here's the thing. Yeah, Rob, if it was anybody else, if it was Stone Cold, if it was Hulk Hogan, if it was The Undertaker, if it was anybody, you have a point. Problem is, John Cena laid in the match and let NXT have their way with him for 15 minutes. These guys were nobody.
That's a good point.
Cena is company through and through, and I have no doubt he would not only lose that match, he would let Rock stuff one of his shirts in his mouth and beat his wife. If WWE came down and said, Cena, we really want you to do this, John.
There's a lot of domestic violence trends coming from you, man.
Yeah,
you gotta relax.
How does your wife
Is there something you want to tell us?
Well, I think it's because I shaved my beard, so I think that's why.
Yeah, that ruins every man. So I got you.
I gotta be honest. After I talked myself out of it, Joe, I'm with you. I'm taking The Rock, just because
you're just hedging your bet.
No, I'm not. I'm saying it because of the two of them, Cena is more company than The Rock ever will be, and I would have more respect for John Cena if he lost this match than if he won it. Garth, who are you taking?
I hate how they've done this. They've built up, this match, but now I'm second guessing my opinion that they ruined the match by delaying it for so long, by dragging it out for a year. Because we've been talking about this for like 10 minutes now,
and we could still devote an entire show about it.
Yeah, and I'm torn.
Like a hymen.
Yeah. Because you have to
I
look
can't believe
at...
you guys are going to let that one go.
You have to look at what's happening next. Where does Cena go from here? Where does Rock go from here? I mean, I think we all believe that Rock probably doesn't have a lot of matches left in him. But he was out promoting WrestleMania 29. There's all those rumors that he could be on that card as well. Possibly a rematch against John Cena at SummerSlam. but I don't know. I'm going to have to go with Cena. I've liked everything that Cena has done. I think Cena has won every battle that they've had verbally. And I think I'd like to see Cena win. At the same time, he's been going on 10 years straight. What if they're using this as a way to write him off for a couple months for him to take a break?
God damn it, Garvin. Fuck. Because that's a really good point. Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, because he keeps saying, if he loses, there's nothing left for him. He's done. He's dead as a wrestler because he couldn't win the match that he said he was going to win. So, but I think that would be an interesting situation. And we didn't necessarily believe that CM Punk was going to walk out with the title, and they did that.
Yeah, that's a really good point, too.
All right, I'm going back to The Rock. I'm changing.
We're going to be here all night.
If you're talking about a possible rematch scenario at SummerSlam,
yeah. If that's the case,
Cena has to win for The Rock to demand the rematch.
Unless it's the other way around.
No.
Unless Cena demanding the rematch.
No, Cena won't demand the rematch because he's the company man.
No, there will be no rematch. There are people buying this pay-per-view entirely because there will be no rematch. I mean, they want.
Right. Yeah, I mean, technically they are booking this match as once in a lifetime. This will never happen again.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, WWE.
It'll never happen again at WrestleMania.
I don't know. I mean, oh god, it's like I want Cena to win because to me, throughout this entire feud, he has proven to me that he is better than The Rock at what he does. And you talk about the ring rust, talk it up. I mean, look, on the mic, all The Rock does is spout out the same 6 catchphrases and talk about Twitter. Cena came out and talked about, I mean, when the two of them went at it, who was the one who attacked first? It was Cena, talking about the fact that The Rock had the stuff written on his arm. Cena was the one who went to Rock and pointed out the fact that, and the second you had the chance, you were gone. And the other thing that I love about it is Cena brought up the point, which is the one that I've been thinking, which is April 1st does not matter. April 2nd does. And you better believe John Cena will still be here on April 2nd and The Rock won't. Yeah, I know it's storyline and everything, but still, that's an angle that I'm glad they played. That was a card I'm glad they played. And
right.
I got to say, of the two of them, I got to say Cena I can see rolling and letting The Rock win. I can't see it the other way around. We've been talking about this for a half an hour. God damn it. All right, so that's it. Predictions are locked. Questions about WrestleMania from our fans on Twitter. Pinfall Magazine asked, is there a place for a Brodus Clay squash at WrestleMania 28? Hell yeah, Brodus Clay's going to be there.
No.
What?
Look at how full the card is, man.
Don't fit him in there.
Brodus Clay match takes like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most of that's, I mean, you're talking about, I mean, it's really the entrance is what they're paying for.
Who does he go against if there is a spot?
Doesn't matter.
Jesus.
Hornswoggle. I mean, who else is on the card that isn't on the card? Who cares? It's going to be a squash match. Koi Pumikey said if The Rock beats Cena the night after he says he does it all and says he's beat Hogan, Austin, Cena at WrestleMania, then Taker comes out? Could you see that happening?
And what?
I don't know. Rock has beaten Taker.
Not at WrestleMania.
Oh, well, yeah. So what, The Rock comes back next year? They book that match a year in advance. The Rock, at that point, yes, the streak will end.
No.
So then, do you see Taker, if Rock wins, gloats about it, do you see Taker coming out?
No.
No?
Not if it's a Hell in a Cell match. I don't think it would be realistic to do that.
Yeah, they're going to have to pick him up with a sponge and a Ziploc bag after that match. Okay, and OK Fabe said on Twitter, stupid thought, obviously, from him. WWE pisses everyone off.
What a dick.
Come on, everything he says. Okay, so we got this thing that we do. We have, Connor, OK Fabe on occasion. And every time he says something to us, like on an email or on Facebook or something, he always says, stupid thought. This is lame, kind of long. He's always putting himself down before he gives his point. And so I'm like, all right. I'm just playing to it. That's all I'm doing. Connor, love you, buddy. Love you. Anyway, stupid thought. WWE pisses everyone off at WrestleMania saying, April Fools, we'll see you all next year. That would be kind of awesome only because I know that Joe is paying for WrestleMania and I'm not.
Yeah, but you will be paying to come into the house. So I think that that's going to make up more for it because $50 a head, Harrison. It's really
Wait, you're turning a profit if you're charging $50 a head.
You're the only one I'm charging.
Oh, well done, well done.
Hey,
All right,
but at the same time, I mean, it is a dumb thought. Yes.
yes.
But it is April Fool's.
Thought, but
It is April Fool's. Do you think that they're gonna pull any kind of jokes?
Oh, yeah.
On us the fans, not just in segments with each other.
Oh no, they'll reference it. It'll be in segments with each other. It's not going to be against us, the fans. WrestleMania is worth way too much to Vince to do that. I mean, every time those buy rates come in, you that's Viagra to him. It is.
Once again, Harrison talking about Vince McMahon's dick.
Well, I mean, he's the genetic jackhammers. You like to keep bringing up. Hey, you're the one who always talks about him liking big dudes.
The only thing that I can think of is that they'll suggest that they're bringing back Alberto Del Rio, and Ricardo will come out just like he did Royal Rumble.
That would be badass, and I would pay good money to see that.
There's your Brodus Clay squash match.
Dude, yes.
What, Ricardo?
Yeah. There it is. There's your April Fool's, your Brodus Clay squash match, all rolled up in one neat little 5-minute package. You get the entrance, you get the cheap pop, and you get the fact that we get to watch. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, that'd be a fantastic match.
Yeah, for all 20 seconds that it lasts. Because then it's an easy squash. I mean, you don't have to worry about hurting a wrestler's feelings by having him make his first WrestleMania debut or a WrestleMania match, and then he just gets squashed by, King Hippo. All right.
That's man.
All right.
Sans the Band-Aid on his stomach.
Sans the Band-Aid on his stomach. All right. Win, fail.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here is your win.
You do any job,
And fail
is to fucking get paid!
of the week.
All right, for those guys new to the show, well, actually, you know what? Win, fail. I mean, it's straightforward. Rob, your win of the week. Go.
My win of the week is going to be from Impact. I was a big fan of James Storm defeating Chris Daniels and Kazarian in a handicap match. I thought that was awesome.
Joe, your win of the week.
My win of the week is going to be Daniel Bryan. He's been hitting it out of the park with this seemingly emotional abuse storyline, and it doesn't seem unnatural. I'm not saying he's like that. I'm just saying they're doing a good job with the storyline.
Okay. Garvin,
I'm not saying he's actually abusive. I'm just saying he plays it well on TV. That's your thought, Joe?
Yeah, pretty much.
From the chat, win, Miz and Drew getting a match at Mania. Well, Drew only gets a match by default. It is a match, yes, but it is default. Cole Cabana tweeting he was glad that Jericho didn't reveal his porn addiction. Hey, bravo. Garv, you got a win?
Yeah, I had a win, and now I was reading the live chat, and
Brain fart?
Brain fart. Give me a second. You do yours, now maybe I'll have it by the time.
Okay, fine. My win of the week is about 2 hours ago, we posted, basically WWE released earlier today, this little caption, this contest, and it was Eve on the mat. And we took this photo, posted it on our Facebook page, and said, taking the censorship gloves off, how would you capture it? How would you caption it? 2 hours, people. This thing was on for not even 2 hours. And we have some of the best, I mean, not even an hour, and we already got some of the best. You got to go to our Facebook and read some of these comments. I love our fans so much for this thing just hitting our Facebook page and you guys jumping on this shit like crazy. It is awesome. Eve stars in the first WWE produced movie that isn't PG, a remake of Deep Throat. She's enjoying Eve's enjoying the Long Island Iced Z Vibrotor. I love that so much.
Oh.
And another friend on the show, Raven, said, ow, my cooch, which is straightforward but really funny. Because that's what she looks like she's saying. Ow, my cooch. All right, Garv, you got your win?
Yeah, I do. Brodus Clay competed in 2 matches this week, and each were longer than 30 seconds.
Yeah, one he even got hit. Kind of.
And no, both of them he was knocked down to the ground. Somehow Heath Slater got more offense on him than Curtis Hawkins, if you talk to Lawler. The other thing is I love his splash. I love how he does the splash. That's it. That's my win.
All right, fails of the week. Your fail of the week, go Rob.
Sting coming back as a full-time wrestler. We talked about this during the Impact segment. It's just, I don't think it's going to be really good at all.
Okay. Joe, your fail of the week.
Oh, this is tough. The fact that Great Khali got a win, and it had to be by count out. It couldn't even actually be a serious win.
Okay. Garvin, you got a fail?
Yeah, did any of you guys, maybe I skipped over this mentally, but did you guys watch the Rock Cena documentary before Raw?
No.
That's my fail of the week.
That we didn't see it?
That was the worst thing. It was so boring. I think what they did was they took clips from their DVDs and pieced them together, as well as the segments that they did on Raw and SmackDown the last 6 to 8 months. So it was nothing new. Didn't push the storyline at all. That was my fail.
Hang on. One of our friends on Facebook basically brought up the same point that I was thinking, which is I can't remember. I'm sorry. Which is basically why watch it. You're going to be seeing it over the next 2 weeks on all these different shows. No, that's basically it. I wasn't going to watch it for that reason alone. I mean, we're going to be seeing it forever. And DVDs, yeah. I mean, the same point. I'm sorry. I wish I could have remembered who said that on our Facebook page, but yeah. All right. My fail of the week is. Remember when Kurt Angle was awesome? Yeah, TNA doesn't. Garrett Bischoff got a win over him. I know it was by DQ, but still. I mean, Kurt Angle used to be an amazing. I mean, and that's not even like I don't even want to think about it anymore. All right, from the chat, John Cena Rock cutting the same hollow promo. Boo. Cena's was clearly superior. Daniel Bryan still not being concerned about his match at Mania against Sheamus. Well, yeah, that is kind of weird. How they're booking it. Fail. Hulk Hogan being allowed anywhere near a TV camera. Absolutely. And that's what the WrestleMania stage is going to look like, huh? Neat. All right, we'll share that on our Facebook page. It's on WrestleZone. You can see an image of the WrestleMania stage being put together in Miami, and it looks like wow. It looks like they're putting together some kind of like super church or something.
That's not the stage.
That's the lights, and then you can see the cage.
Right, that's over the ring.
Yeah.
There's still going to be one side of the fucking arena that's going to be the stage. And
Which looks like it's going to be on the opposite side, because you can see they're putting screens up.
Yeah. But that's what I'm more interested in. I don't give a damn about. They knew they had to do something crazy like this to hide the cage.
Oh, up top. You mean that TP thing?
Yeah, right. That's what's...
that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I just figured, once they lift it out, once it's out of the range of the lights, it's going to be so dark up there, it doesn't matter. Well, all right. Once again, our question of the week is, does Cena Rock actually have to have a winner in order for it to be considered a success? We'll be posting this to Facebook. Want to hear what you guys have to say. As always, you can find this episode as well as our entire archive at ftwpodcast.com, facebook.com/ftwpodcast, twitter.com/ftwpodcast, youtube.com/the FTW Podcast, where you can check out Shotgun Saturday Afternoon, featuring some of our most famous hosts and co-hosts of this show, giving rapid-fire question and answer sessions. It's absolutely awesome. Voicemail us at 313-444-FTW4. That's 313-444-3894. Send us questions to questions@ftwpodcast.com, and rate us on iTunes. But most importantly, buy a shirt. ftwpodcast.com/merch. Buy a shirt and show us that you love us, but most importantly, show everybody else that you are not just a wrestling fan, but a superior wrestling fan. Double plus good. Anything else, guys? You want to get out of here?
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right.
Thanks, everyone in the live chat.
See you next Tuesday.
Damn it. I never get to say that line.